The Fantastic Four, the iconic superhero foursome that gained their powers after being exposed to cosmic rays during an accident in an experimental rocket ship. Now, we all know that these four heroes are some of the best out there, but that doesn't mean that every iteration of them is necessarily as good as they are. Even the tiniest changes can have a huge impact. What is going on, all you nerdy folk out there? My name is Jack, and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. Today, I'm excited to say that we are going to be taking a look at some alternate versions of the Fantastic Four that are darker in terms of character, tone, and world. And to make it a little bit more interesting, the first 6 will be alternate versions of the entire team, with the last 4 spots reserved for dark alternate versions of individual members. Now, if you want to check out some more dark alternates, make sure to check out our playlist, Dark Alternate Versions, over on our channel. Anyways, enough of me talking, let's get right into it. Number 10, the Fantastic THORS. One of the more interesting aspects of Reed Richards' intellect is that he is able to recognize the contributions other versions of himself can offer. So obviously the only logical step from there would be to form the Council of Reeds, which includes versions of himself from across the multiverse, but they aren't exactly a team. While it would be super interesting to see a full team of Mr. Fantastics, Marvel decided to go in a different direction and instead gave us the Fantastic THORS, which is exactly what it sounds like it would be. It's the Fantastic Four, but they're also all Thor. Not a whole lot is known about the origins of this mystical team, but it can be assumed that they obtained their powers in a similar way to their 616 counterparts, but how they all became Thor is the biggest mystery. This team showed up during the Secret Wars event as the members of the Thor Corps, a planet-patrolling police force pretty similar to DC's Green Lantern Corps, composed of Thors scattered across the multiverse. This specific foursome of Thors actually works specifically for Doom as a special police force though. Check them out for yourself in their one-off appearance in 2015 Siege Volume 2, Number 4. Number 9, the Fantastic Five. Much to Spider-Man's dismay and constant pleading, he was never able to convince the Fantastic Four to add a 5th member. However, he did actually eventually get on the team, but whatever. Funnily enough, there have been moments throughout the team's history where they've actually allowed for the inclusion of a 5th member. A reality where this was done in an unusual way was the MC2 universe of Earth 982, which was the home to the Fantastic Five. The key and honestly really interesting element of Earth 982 was that the heroes actually aged in real time, making it possible for their children to take up their mantle. The origins of this team were parallel to their 616 counterparts until the time Spider-Man had his first kid. After sustaining some pretty terrible injuries, Reed and Sue were forced to step down from the team, leaving Johnny in charge, who took it upon himself to round out the team a little bit by adding Franklin Richards and his wife Elijah to the team. The team at its core from that point on was comprised of the Human Torch, a partially cybernetic Thing, Psylord, Miss Fantastic, and Big Brain, who is a robot that acted as a replacement for Reed. Eventually, the Fantastic Five did grow beyond 5 members to include Johnny and Elijah's son Taurus, a revived Sue Storm, and Christophe Bernard, the adopted son of Dr. Doom. Check out this team for yourself in 1998's What If, Volume 2, Number 105. Number 8, the Fearsome Four. The Fantastic Four assembled to become a superhero team in the Marvel Universe due to their unique circumstances. And then on the other hand, there is the Fearsome Four, a team vastly different from the Fantastic Four that formed more so out of necessity than anything. The Fearsome Four came into being as a result of the Fear Itself crossover event. They found out that they had to work together to keep Psycho Man from gaining control over Man-Thing, who is undergoing a severe case of fear overload at the time. Now you're probably thinking that's a pretty normal reason for the team to form, and you're absolutely right. The unusual thing about them is the people who formed the team. The leader of the team is none other than, say it with me now, Howard the Duck, and is assisted by She-Hulk, Nighthawk, and of course, Frankenstein's monster. Facing various alternate universes heroes and the Psycho Man brought to Earth by the Man-Thing's connection to the nexus of all realities. The four were eventually able to confront their own fears and calm the Man-Thing, bringing an end to his rampage and saving the world before deciding to go their separate ways. Give their story a read for yourself, starting with 2011's Fear Itself, Fearsome Four, Number 1. Number 7, the Fang Four. While the Fantastic Four's roster has changed over the years to include the likes of She-Hulk and Spider-Man, the team has pretty much always been made of humans, or at least human-adjacent. Even across the multiverse, the various teams that call themselves some form of the Fantastic Four tend to fit into that sort of mold. Well, throw that ideology away for this iteration of the team, because then there is the Fang Four, which is arguably the most ridiculous version of the team ever made. The team is made up entirely of monsters, and they are just as insane as you might expect, as they're all former enemies of the Fantastic Four on Earth 616. The team is made up of Fang Foom, Electro, Gorgilla, and Googum, all shrunk down to human size. They all ended up taking jobs at the Four's Freedom Plaza, becoming window washers and cooks, but when the monster Tim Boo Ba attacked, it was up to the newly formed Fang Four to defeat the monster and save the world. Don't believe that this is real? Well, I swear I am not making it up. Check it out for yourself in 2005's Marvel Monsters Fang Four, Number 1. Number 6. Four from the Fantastic. Hailing from Earth 311 and appearing in the Marvel 1602 storyline, the Four from the Fantastic is comprised of Sir Reed Richards, Susan Storm, Jonathan Storm, and Benjamin Grimm, the crew of the ship the Fantastic that gained their powers after they were exposed to a wave of energy in the Sargasso Sea. You probably already assumed, but just in case you were curious, the powers they gain are fundamentally the same as their 616 counterparts. However, Susan is initially unable to remain visible and spends a majority of her time invisible. After traveling the world, the team found themselves trapped in Latveria under Count Otto von Doom's castle, and they were not freed until the other heroes of this reality rescued them. The Four returned to London and supposedly retired from heroing. Then several months later though, Doom kidnapped William Shakespeare to have him chronicle his journeys to the end of the earth, with the Four who are frightful, and the Four from the Fantastic, including a pregnant Susan, go after them. The Four from the Fantastic manage to escape with William Shakespeare, but everyone else falls with Ben Salem to the bottom of the ocean and unfortunately presumably dies. Returning to London once again, Grimm decides to take up acting, Reed and Susan live together, and John spends a majority of his remaining time drinking away his sorrows in pubs. Check out this iteration of the Fantastic Four for yourself, starting with 2004's Marvel 1602, number 7. Number 5, the Fantastic Four, Earth 2149. Honestly, not a whole lot is known about these Skrull Fantastic Four before the zombie plague hit on Earth 2149, but it's assumed that they were created after the Skrulls were unable to recreate Super Skrull. Known as Elastic Skrull, Skrull Torch, Skrull Thing, and Invisible Skrull, this Fantastic Four dwelled in the catacombs beneath Skrull City and immediately attacked the 616 Fantastic Four on sight as they were deemed threats. However, after a brief conversation, the 8 of them teamed up, effectively making them, the implausible 8. When a zombified Luke Cage burst into the command center, the new Fantastic Four and Skrull Fantastic Four attacked. But finding the zombie to be extremely powerful, they decided to fall back to an escape ship. With Cage in hot pursuit, the Skrull Fantastic Four had no choice but to defend the others as they made their escape. But even as the ship took off, they were fighting a losing battle and became infected. The newly zombified Skrull Fantastic Four watched the escape ship unexpectedly lose power and crash back to the ground, at which point they tore through the hull and faced the new Fantastic Four, and needless to say, it didn't end too well for them. Invisible Skrull was decapitated, Elastic Skull was electrocuted, stabbed, and then burnt to a crisp, Skrull Thing was covered in molten metal, and Skrull Torch was impaled and energy blasted. Check out these Skrulls for yourself, starting with their first appearance in 2007's Black Panther, Volume 4, number 28. Number 4, Sue Storm, Earth 65. Alrighty, let's get into some dark iterations of individual members of the Fantastic Four. Sue Storm from Earth 65 was actually a cast member of the Fantastic Four TV series. However, she is not the Sue we're all used to. She is a vain, arrogant, manipulative, and just an all-around ruthless person, bullying her younger brother Johnny Storm into doing her bidding. Sue arranged for Victor Von Doom to give her and her brother superpowers during the trip to Latveria, seducing him and eventually murdering him in cold blood when he was no longer of any use to her. After 5 years of honing her newly acquired skills, she returned to New York and her and Johnny killed their mother and started acting as quote-unquote vigilantes. Although technically a hero, Sue was not the most altruistic, as she tricked Ghost Spider into believing that they were friends, intending to kill Gwen and her family once the veteran hero had shown her and her brother the lay of the land. Persuaded by Johnny to give Gwen a chance to leave New York, Sue just coldly blackmailed Gwen into leaving Earth 65 altogether. Give her story a read for yourself, starting with her first appearance in 2016's Spider-Gwen Volume 2, number 7. Number 3, It. In the House of M series, Ben Grimm was the pilot of Reed Richards' voyage to space alongside Sue Storm and John Jonah Jameson III. In true Fantastic Four fashion, Grimm was mutated alongside the other members of the crew. However, the rocket exploded unexpectedly and he was the only survivor, as he had transformed into the Thing and his rock-hard skin had protected him. The biggest difference between this Ben and his 616 counterpart is that this version had his intelligence vastly lowered after his transformation, leaving him only capable of well below average thought. After some time, he was taken in by Dr. Doom, who dubbed him the It, and he became one of the Frightful Four alongside the Inhuman Torch and Invincible Woman. Grimm was treated like absolute garbage by Doom, often the victim of all his frustrations, and it eventually got to the point where he betrayed Doom and sided with Polaris to help take him down. After defeating his former leader/captor, Grimm was taken to the Human Resistance by Alicia Masters, and hopefully, I really hope he is just being treated well there. Check him out, starting with 2005's Fantastic Four House of M, number 1. Number 2, Vanguard. The Johnny Storm of Earth 721 has a bit of a different backstory compared to his 616 counterpart. This version never actually went into space, so he was never transformed into the Human Torch. Instead, he went off to fight in the war in East Asia and wound up getting hurt pretty bad. He was found by Archon, who fixed him up, erased his memories, and restructured his mind so that he could serve as Guard, the Guardian of the Nexus, who is a key player in Archon's scheme to start a war between 3 separate worlds. The Fantastic Four, with the help of Reed Richards of Earth 721, discovered the plan, and the Thing of Earth 616 was sent to battle guard and destroy the Nexus. And once the Nexus was destroyed, Guard escaped off into the Void. Guard was then transformed into Vanguard by the Void and acquired the ability to destroy realities. And with this power, he felt he had a new purpose in life: to travel to different realities and destroy timelines he felt were redundant. At first, Vanguard appeared to be unbeatable, but eventually he came into contact with the Human Torch of Earth 616, and this caused him to have a bit of an internal crisis, because he realized that could have been him if things were just the tiniest bit different. From that point on, Vanguard decided to end his destruction of timelines and instead help other timelines find closure. Give his story a read for yourself, starting with his first appearance in 1975's Fantastic Four, number 162. And number 1, Dark Raider. You probably thought I was going to be talking about Reed Richards as the Maker, right? Come on, that is way too easy, and I have to leave myself something for part 2, right? Dark Raider is a counterpart of Reed Richards from Earth 944, who, when he entered the ship of Galactus to search for the ultimate nullifier, he was a bit distracted by the technology around him. While he looked around, Galactus was free to consume his world, and this left Reed a little messed up, to say the least. Full of feelings of self-loathing and accepting full responsibility for his actions, he decided that the only way to atone for his sins was to travel across the multiverse and kill every version of himself that he could find. And he developed the identity of the Dark Raider in order to carry out this deadly mission. He was able to kill at least 3 Reeds before coming in contact with the Fantastic Four of Earth 616, and once actually on Earth 616, he revealed his intentions and identity, and threatened to destroy the entire reality using the ultimate nullifier. Thankfully, Aaron was able to capture Dark Raider and kept him prisoner for quite a while before releasing him, causing him to plummet into the Annihilation Barrier and killing him for good. Highly recommend you check out this alternate read, so give his story a read for yourself, starting with his first appearance in 1994's Fantastic Four, number 387. That'll be it for this video, everyone. If we missed one of your favorite dark alternate versions of the Fantastic Four, make sure to let us know in the comments below, and maybe we'll continue this with a part 2 covering them all. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Top 10 Nerd to stay up to date on all things nerdy. And while you're at it, why not ring that notification bell so you know whenever we upload a video. As always, my name is Jack, thank you all so much for watching, and make sure to stay nerdy, my friends.